Diaries, your productivity coach here today. Hold on, I gotta. There we go. Sorry, y'all, I had to confirm my nail appointment. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I hope that you guys are doing great. Happy Friday. It is beautiful outside, and my home is increasingly loud. So today, for just these few minutes, y'all see my people inside? Turn this way so y'all get all of my family business. Um, I'm live, and I really don't have a lot of time today. I have to take my kids and be somebody's mama on Mondays, and so I'm taking a few minutes this morning before nail appointment and running around like a chick with my head cut off to talk about increasing your capacity. Okay, for those of us who are new here, I am Christina Garrett. I'm a productivity coach for moms who are called to lead, and for the last I don't even know how many years, a decade plus now, I have been very honored to support, equip, and encourage women on the move with the tools they need to get more done without burnout. Okay. I have been coaching now for several years. We've been hosting our annual conference every year for the last several years. It's been quite a wild ride for the divas as we seek to build relationships and network and achieve our goals in half the time. Okay. So for the next 10 minutes, I have 10 minutes before I have to run off and be someone's mom. Good morning, everyone. I want to talk about increasing your capacity. Last night, we had a time on our live. We had a time. And here's what was so interesting. It was so interesting to see how many ladies could identify with the symptoms of burnout, how many ladies could identify with the notion of wanting to do something, wanting to achieve something, wanting to make it to a certain goal, and then feeling frustrated, overwhelmed, and exhausted by trying to carry this out. And so last night when we were talking about it, we broke down the symptoms of overwhelm and burnout in our motherhood journey, which include things like extreme fatigue, okay, a low motivation to do the things that you need to get done, having a short temper, low flexibility when it comes to your family or the people in your circle, feeling like you're emotionally repressed, right? Like some of us felt like we may not even be showing up like who we're supposed to be in the world. Instead, we are really dimming things down or modifying because we just don't feel like we can fully express who we are in this current journey. And so as we're going into a new week, as we are looking at, as we're looking at the different ways that we can enlarge our capacity, I want to highlight this idea that capacity is something that is grown. It is something that is created. It is manufacturable. It is flexible, right? You can cause your capacity to stretch. You don't have to wait for it to do that. You don't have to wait for your capacity to stretch on its own. So I'm going to give you an example of this. The Mamathon Conference, the first year we hosted the Mamathon Conference, I had 25 mamas in the room, right? We had a budget of maybe $500. Maybe it was 500, maybe. Like, I can't even say if this was factual or not. It was maybe $500. And I remember us hosting the event. I remember having a styrofoam pop-up thing that had a really ugly clip art logo on it that I was so excited about when I got it. I was like, oh my goodness, this is totally me. I've reached it. I've done it all. Okay. So I remember having this little pop-up banner that sat on a tripod. I remember the $500 food and beverage budget. I remember having this small group of ladies that came. And then what ended up happening after is the Mamathon magic that ensued after this point. So in 2016, the capacity that I had to execute on this goal was at the $500 level. Everybody got me? My capacity to execute this goal was at the $500 level. Fast forward 8 years. Fast forward us going into year 9 for the Mamathon conference. And I'm going to share more details. I want you guys to make sure you're following. If you're not on our email list, DM me your email, like get in touch, because this year's conference is going to be a whole different, like, can of Hi Callie, a whole different, experience. And so anyway, the 2016 Christina had a capacity for the $500 event. Okay, I had a capacity for the adorable room at the Hilton Garden Inn, right? That sat a small group of ladies and all of this stuff. Like, that's what I had the capacity for. Fast forward 8 years. Fast forward us going into year 9. I have forcibly had to add some zeros to that budget. Okay, I've had to add zeros to the budget, where, okay, you have to spend $350 for food and beverage. Now our food and beverage minimum is 5 figures, right? And it's gone from a single night. It was from like 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. It went from that to a full weekend experience, all day Friday, all day Saturday, half the day Sunday. Some ladies come and stay 5 days. Hey, Alex. Some ladies come and stay 5 days for the conference. Like, they just leave home. It's their vacation mode. They're going to stay at the Renaissance the entire time they're going to turn up. Okay. But I, Christina, had to have the capacity to create this experience. What if I did not work on slowly but surely stretching out, right? Stretching out who I used to be to become this new person. Okay. So my thought pattern is always, how can you stretch your capacity this week? Even me being here and being live, sometimes I have an idea in my mind that I have to be live for 30 minutes, right? Or an hour, or however long. Like last night, if you missed a live from last night, you need to hop to it right away, okay? What's going on with my Instagram? Oh. Nope. Okay, there we go. Last night's live was off the chain. If you missed it, it was all about burnouts and accepting things that you should not have accepted. I can't describe it, but that was a more in-depth live and coaching experience. Okay. If you missed it, go back to last night's and watch it. Okay. But sometimes in my mind, I will tell myself, I need 30 minutes. I need an hour to do this particular task or this attribute, this bullet point that's on my day. What if I don't? What if I have 10 minutes today, right? Which means I have about 5 more, maybe 6. I got a couple minutes today to make a deposit into my community. And then I got to go throw my kids in the minivan and roll out. Okay. What is your capacity asking you for today? What's it asking you for? Okay. Because a lot of times we will feel like we have this go-to statement. I don't have the capacity for this. Oh, I'm so overwhelmed. Oh, I'm burned out. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that. I'm just frustrated. I'm exhausted. I can't seem to pull myself together. Right? I can't seem to make myself do the things that I know I need to do. I know that this is the best way for me to reach this goal, but you won't go do it. You won't go do it. You know this is the way. You don't want to do the way unless it's perfect or unless it fits exactly everything that you want it to fit. What if you have 15 minutes a day to make a move forward and that's all you have? So I had to even increase my capacity to show up in micro moments like this. I had to increase my capacity to see bigger numbers. That, okay, I see this new budget. This doesn't scare me. This doesn't scare me. It'll be fine. This is what we're working towards. This is the goal this year. You can't reach anything that you haven't ironed out and made it a goal. Okay. So as we push forward to this, as we're looking at, the bigger picture, learning to stretch ourselves, I want us to think about what our capacity was 3 years ago, 5 years ago, and has it transformed over the years? Has your capacity developed into something new over the years? Or are you continually telling yourself you don't have space? Are you continually telling yourself that this is not an option for me? Am I making a plan to stretch my capacity? And am I owning up to the reasons why it feels confined in the first place? And so last night we went through all the symptoms of overwhelm and burnout, and when you're immensely emotionally exhausted and you lack motivation, and all of these different expressions, feeling so fatigued, how burnout, overwhelm shows up in your body, right? With your heart rate and your tight shoulders, and you sitting in your closet crying, feeling like no one gets me, all of this stuff, right? Learn to tune out the chaos because you just don't want to deal with it. No, here in this community, we deal with it. Why is it like that? Why is this not working for you? What do we need to do differently? What needs to change? And for a lot of my clients, we just might be overthinkers, or we might, subscribe to a life of overwhelm when we don't have to. It could be all that stuff. I don't know your personal story, right, to determine what that looks like for you. But it's up to you to do the investigative homework and say, okay, after this point, I know what I need going forward. I know what I need going forward. I realize that I'm overwhelmed because of this. I realize I say I want this, but I actually want this right here. Like I say, one of my clients, we talked about last week, and it was so amazing for her because she was like, I enjoy being a person that's behind the scenes. Good morning. And then after we talked for like 5 more minutes, she was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be behind the scenes. I want to be a woman who takes up space in the world. And she has like the perfect podcasting voice. And I'm like, why would you not create this message that works so well? That you're so good. You have this passion for this, and this. Why would you not do that? But often because we told ourselves a story that we don't have the capacity. We told ourselves that story, and then we repeat it again and again until we start to believe it. And then once we start believing our own story, no one else can convince you out of it. Nobody else can tell you it could be another way. It could be a different way. We just continue to subscribe to this message of being a mother is the equivalent of being overwhelmed. Being a mom is the equivalent of being exhausted all the time, or having to do so many things. I'm always moving around. I don't sit. Like we begin to subscribe our story, and we just always, once we believe the story, nobody's going to convince you out of it. If you keep telling yourself, I don't have the capacity for this, you will only produce less capacity. If you keep telling yourself your current life is so overwhelming, how does God give you more if you keep believing and feeling like what you have right now is already too much? So I've been continuously working on in myself. With every new level, you got to work on it more. With every new level, you have to work on your procrastination. You got to work on your perfectionism. You have to work on how you're trying to people please for other people. You got to work on all of these things. With every new level of success that you go up, you got to work on these little toxic traits that we produce in our lives. So you got to work on it. With every new level, you got to work on, why am I trying to get this so perfect? Why am I trying to give this away to somebody else? Part of this is on me to do, to create, to produce. Good morning. It's on me to produce this. And why am I trying to subscribe to a life that I haven't done the hard work for yet? I haven't done the heavy lifting for yet. Of course, your capacity doesn't feel like it's accommodating your life yet because you haven't gone to a place where you said, okay, I need to work on stretching into this other thing. Like one of my favorite running apps is the Couch to 5K, right? App. They got a million different versions, but they start you out with slowly jogging 60 seconds. 60 seconds. And then by the time you get to the end of the 9 weeks or 10 weeks, you're running for 3 miles. Hopefully nonstop, but something like that, right? You're running like, you're getting all that time in. But I wonder how many of us get to week 2, week 3, and then we say, this feels too hard. This feels too hard. So this is the point where I wave the white flag and I begin to regress back into who I used to be. It was easier to be that other person than it is to be the person I'm trying to be right now. And so because of that, our capacity isn't sustainable. What if, just like you working your way up to the 3 miles. You also can do your level of handling big things in the same way. Okay? All right. That's all the time I got. I got to go and be somebody's mama on a Monday morning. However, here are some final thoughts. The Mamathon Conference is October 25th through the 27th in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay? We have booked over 30 hotel rooms already. We may be 35% full, maybe 40% full already just from my clients. Okay. So, what I would love to see is you coming to join us this year. It's going to be an amazing experience. You're going to be able to touch so many different areas of your womanhood journey at one time. Okay. So, this covers our time management, our self-care, our rest and recuperation, moving your schedule around so that it fuels your business. Most of the ladies that come are business owners. Now it seems like we're shifting, as I've shifted as a leader, as a coach. The movement is shifting too. And so I have seen across the board how necessary it is to have community of women who love God and love their families and champion for their goals. They champion for their goals. They're here for the smoke. Okay. And so if that sounds like you guys may have seen the pictures. You all have seen we were named one of Essence Magazine's major events to attend for Black women in 2024. What? So come on and join us. I'm really excited about what God is doing. I'm prayerful about the direction that the conference is taking this year, because I'm like, okay, Lord, like I have my ideas, but what are your ideas? And one thing that I have seen across the board is no matter what ideas I come up with, whenever I yield to his, everything works without a shadow of a doubt. So I'm excited to see what God comes up with for this year's event. I do know that every year when the women get what they came for, that had to be God. It couldn't be me. It would have to be God. So I am excited and ready to see everything that's in store. All right. So if you're interested in conference details, DM me conference. Come hang out. Yes. Drop those kids off on somebody's lawn. Okay. And come hang out with us the 25th, 26th, and 27th of October. The tickets are not open yet. Okay. But you can book your room. You can book your room because we're going to sell out of rooms and we're going to have to add more. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the magic. If you're interested in attending, we'll be so honored to have you. Okay. All right, I think that's it. I'm gonna go be a mom today. Thank you all for hanging out with me. Do some investigative work on your own capacity. Okay, do some homework and look into what you want to have space for. Why don't you have space for it now? And how can we incorporate that into your day-to-day life? Okay. All right. That's it for today. Love you guys so much. And of course, if you want coaching support, y'all know where the DM button is. Slide on in there. We'll set up an appointment. Okay. Love you all. See you later.